Okay, that must have been a good kill up here that I missed, because there was a missile coming in on this guy that was, I don't know, that might have been spoofed, either by the jammer or by some chaff, but in either case, I have no enemy missiles in the air that I can see at this point. Everything that's in the air missile-wise is an AMRAAM against this MiG-29, or an AMRAAM against this MiG-29 off of these F-16s. Okay, I've got the Hammer 3 RTB, Chosen 2 RTB, Killer 1 is RTB, and this group of 2 aircraft still has 8 AIM-120s remaining. You are a single ship with 2 AIM-120s, and you are heading back to base. So at this point, yeah, I've definitely got all my aircraft with the exception of this bound flight, that Reserve 2 ship committed. Now I have an identification. Okay, there's my Sukhoi 24 Fencer Charlie. Now, let me have a look at the Sukhoi 24. This is one of my all-time favorite aircraft. There's something about this aircraft, just the way that it looks and just the capability of it, that I've always just loved. So the database entry for it is going to tell a lot of the story, even though it doesn't have the description. I'll probably go to Wikipedia for this one as well. So I've got a dropkick, our fire control radar, I've got a bomb sight, emitter location system. So this is like a targeting system for anti-radiation missiles if they were going against our air defenses. Got a pretty standard radar warning receiver, SBO-10 for the Soviet aircraft here, defensive ECM, and the internal 23mm gun system. Now, yeah, look at all those neat air-to-ground options. So we've got the AS-7 carry, KH-23, which I believe if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and double check, but I believe this one is carried by the Sukhoi 25 in DCS world, although I've never messed with it or figured out how to fire it off the Sukhoi 25. AS-9 Kyle, and that's a long-range missile with a big warhead, 140 kilograms, 65 nautical mile range. That'd be an interesting option for DCS world. And then we just got our standard Soviet, Russian, Red Air bomb combinations and options here. We've got tactical nuclear weapons, I've got rockets. And yeah, one day I hope this does show up for DCS world. This will be a very, very interesting aircraft to fly. So coming down here, properties, terrain avoidance. So it has a terrain avoidance system, night navigation and attack, ballistic computing bomb sight, although those are just kind of generic systems built into the aircraft in the database. And in Wikipedia, just to show you what it looks like, yeah, it's very much just an answer to the F-111's variable swept wing design. It just looks like something that would just be low and fast, something that could just make a dash on the target and get out. And you can see all kinds of little antennas on this one. This is a, was that a Sukhoi 24M? So this is like a slightly more modernized variant of it, it looks like. So all kinds of antenna associated with those radar warning receivers. You can see the countermeasure dispensers up there by the vertical tail and rudder. Fuel tank on the wing station, intakes for air up top. Looks like a little antenna. Maybe like a GPS antenna or something up there on the top, just based on the shape. I'm not that familiar with the Russian systems and what a specific antenna, what a specific function would appear to be. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, either way, yeah, I've got several of these heading straight for me at low level. So let me see, how many do I have out here? Just one picked up for now, probably 2, I would think, 300 feet. I know that these are going to be Sukhoi 24s as well. They gotta be out there over the water at low level. So let me kick it back off and see how it goes. Okay, so let me zoom in up here on the main fight with the F-15s and these, what is up here now, 4 MiG-29s up here to the north. So right now it's really just a 2-on, actually no, it's down to a 1-on-1 because this guy is down to just AIM-9s. Okay, so wow, actually no, I might have misspoke earlier, or I might have spoke too soon earlier. I might get overwhelmed up here to the north. So got a resolution coming up here on this AIM-120. Okay, miss. Wow, that's put me into a bad situation here now. Okay, more missiles in the air coming off of this F-15, and this one's down to AIM-120, so I might be in a bind here, and I might have to rely on these F-16s picking up these targets, but you know, I think if there's a flaw in my plan, okay, got a good hit up there. I think if there's a flaw in my plan, it's that I don't have anything that's going to account for what do I do if one flank totally folds. You know, I have some overlap, but I don't have anything that's going to say, hey, this group or this group come in here to the center if something comes into the the interior, and really starts to penetrate into the Danish airspace. So okay, I just need some good hits out of these missiles. Chances are this is going to be a good hit on this MiG-29, so I've got nothing to worry about. I don't believe. Okay, yeah, that was a kill on that MiG-29. Okay, so that leaves me with this MiG-29, which is going to come in here and maybe get engaged. Yeah, as of right now, they're going to get engaged by this flight of F-16s and this flight of Eagles. Okay, yeah, okay, one more group to the rescue. So, yeah, I thought that all my F-15s were engaged or were committed, but yeah, I had one more that was still getting airborne. So yeah, everything's just fine after all. Okay, I got a good positive ID on this Sukhoi 24, so these guys are going to get engaged here momentarily. So let me go ahead and just let this play out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so things are shaping up a little bit here. I've got this MiG-29 coming in against these chosen flights of F-15s that are returning to base. Now at some point they're going to realize, hey, I need to do something other than fly straight back to base, and they're going to turn to engage with these AIM-9Xs, I'm sure. Now I've got a missile in the air that'd probably be another Alamo, semi-active radar homing, and yeah, Chosen 4 is now evading. I hope. Okay, yeah, there he goes. Now he's engaged defensive, and he's going to commit all of his capability to evading this missile. Now, these F-15s should be getting into range here any time now. They've got another... Yeah, they're within 40 miles, so they should... Yeah, there we go. Missile in the air. Now, one thing that I didn't point out, and I should have, is that the AIM-120, I mentioned that it can be like a fire and forget weapon. Now, let me turn data links on. Okay, so I've got all data links displayed. Now, let me zoom in right here, and you can see this... Okay, Chosen 4 has been hit. Did I not see something that was happening up there? Okay, I'll get to that here in a second, but yeah, you see the red data link block, and the F-15 is just talking via data link to the AIM-120, and telling the AIM-120 and giving the AIM-120 updates on where the target is. Now, if the data link were lost, the AIM-120 would still autonomously guide and go active at a certain point. It would pitbull. It would just go active on its own radar and try to take out that target. So now we see the MiG turning away. And yeah, what was I talking about? That was Chosen right there. I just didn't see it out of the corner of my eye. That was that F-15 that just got hit by a Alamo. Okay, but this tail chase AIM-120, and this is why this specifically is why I wanted to fire these from a lower range. Now, if the MiG turns away like this, say for example these are fired at max range. If the MiG turns away, then just by default the AIM-120 is not going to be able to catch up with it. So any maneuver whatsoever by an aircraft, if a missile is fired at the max range, is pretty much guaranteed to cause a miss. So you wait until it gets within, in this case, what, about 60-70% of the max range, fire it, and then if the aircraft starts to maneuver, the AIM-120 will still have enough energy to be able to catch up and to go after whatever it needs to go after. Okay, so that should be the air-to-air battle, unless I have these two coming down. Okay, 300 feet, 200 feet, so these might actually be more Sukhoi 24s coming down from the north. But luckily, I still have these F-15s with 10 AIM-120s laying in wait, so let me risk, one more time, a little bit of time acceleration. And watch these guys come on down. Now, okay, those Sukhoi 24s, and yeah, you saw it right there. I was trying not to do that. I had to come up here, and I was using the keyboard command. I had to come up here ultimately and just go and click the drop down. I don't know if I don't know what happened there. But okay, that was an AIM-120 against this Sukhoi, and that was a miss. Boy, that was a kind of an unlucky miss. And that was a hit on this one up here. Okay, so two more. Okay, positively ID'd is Sukhoi 24s coming down. Got another missile on this guy. And let's see, what do we have? Two more Sukhois. Well, there's a lot of Sukhoi 24s coming in. I don't remember there being this many on the other playthroughs. But, okay, coming up on a resolution on this AIM-120. So, started up high. Now it's going straight down on the target through 12,000, 11,000, 8,000 feet. All the way down until it gets down to, was it at 300 feet? Okay, that's a miss at 200 feet. And that was 83% rolling 86. Okay, well, it happens. But now, Craven Flight is out of M120s. They're returning to base, and I don't have a gap filler coming up for Craven Flight. So I'll tell you what I need to do right now. I need to assign Disbound Flight to my East Cap, like, immediately. So, okay, let me go down and find Disbound 1 and 2, get them on the East Cap, and that'll get them airborne right now. This might actually be too little too late, because this Sukhoi 24 looks like he's coming off on this target right here, this comms building. Okay, I think that was another hit up there. I missed that. Okay, so that was another hit on a fencer, 88%, and got the hit. One more fencer up here. And yeah, I'm really worried now. I think they are going to penetrate my defense just because I ran out of M120s. And this is why I kind of hate to have them automatically RTB. It might have been a better idea in retrospect to not have them automatically RTB. I wonder what would happen if I did that, if they would just stay there until they... Well, I know what would happen now that I think about it. They would stay there until they ran out of fuel instead of just automatically RTBing, even, I believe, if they were down to guns. Although that might be something to check. I might run this again just real quick afterwards just to see what will happen if they RTB after they fire their Sidewinders or if they RTB after they run out of fuel. Okay, so last resolution coming up on this Sukhoi 24. And it looks like a good hit on that one. So I've just got 2 more bogeys at low level. Suspected Sukhoi 24 is coming in from the north, and we'll be out of the woods. Okay, and I've just been sitting here letting it run out in real time. It looks like the Sukhoi 24 is turning away. I suspect that what happened there is that he launched some sort of a missile against a ground target. It might have actually been against Carib. I was actually pondering over this big range ring right here and looking at the database. I think what happened there, they might actually be carrying AS-9 Kyle missiles with that 65 nautical mile range. So he might have just launched some missiles at my airbase, which would be a bad thing. So it's definitely too little too late to manually vector anything after this one. I did have Disbound Flight getting airborne from Carib, but I don't know. We'll just have to see how effective these missiles are and what kind of a hit they get. Okay, but meanwhile, up north, I've still got these 2 aircraft coming down. They're about to get engaged by these F-15s. Yeah, they just picked them up since they entered the prosecution zone. Now, this Sukhoi 24 looks like it just came around and is either about to fire another missile or is going after a different target, just as Disbound Flight gets airborne and is about to go engage that Sukhoi. So either way, I think we're going to shoot this guy down, but yeah, again, too little too late, I'm afraid. Okay, up north, I got missiles in the air off of those F-15s. And this Sukhoi is turning back out of the area again. So let's see how these shots do. This should be good enough to take out these remaining Sukhois. Now, again, kind of fretting over the range rings, it looks like this building, the pump house, is within theoretical range. If they are indeed carrying the longer range strike missiles, they could dump off their missiles onto a target. That is assuming that those missiles have some sort of autonomous guidance. Now, let me pause real quick, go to Wikipedia and research that missile and see if the aircraft has to be up for these things to work, or if they're fire and forget. I'm actually not sure. I'll be right back. And I might have been worried over nothing. These are anti-radiation missiles. I don't have any emitters up, the AS-9 Kyle. And you can see from the photo up here, that's a pretty gigantic missile. All things considered, there are bigger weapons out there, but yeah, for something to sling under the wing of a aircraft, I would consider that on the large side. But let me go back and look at the database entry and see if there was maybe like just a dedicated ground strike variant of this. So I'll be right back. And there you go, the database entry actually outdoes Wikipedia in this case. That's a good photo displaying what I meant about that being just a huge weapon. Look at that thing. So the AS-9 entered service in 1973, used on the Sukhoi 17, 20, 22, and 24, Tupolev 16 and 22M, MiG-25 and MiG-27 aircraft, and a nuclear warhead option was available. Boy, that would be bad in this case. But yeah, I've definitely confirmed that this is an anti-radiation missile only as depicted here. So even though there are no like ground radars that I was defending, I'm going to consider that heavy damage, in theory at least, any radars that I would have had illuminating, and just chalk that one up to a lesson learned, okay? You need to take into account when you're setting up an air defense the long-range strike capability and the long-range missile capability that are inherent to the type of aircraft that we're up against. That's something that you usually don't think about. Well, I never think about that sort of thing in a flight sim. I just go up and I'm usually on the ground attack side, not so much on the air defense side of the equation. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind here as we keep going and get into more complex scenarios. So these Sukhoi 24s are coming in, and I would consider this at this point, and from what I could tell, it is a pretty much a fire and forget type weapon. I don't think it has any kind of like guidance from the aircraft after launch. It's all just internal to its own seeker. Okay, that was a miss. So, in theory, I could consider that, okay, 2 launches off of this one, and then 4 total launches off of these 2 Sukhoi 24s off of radars in the northern and the eastern part of Denmark. So, coming up on an M120 resolution here, another miss. Wow. Those are some kind of lucky or unlucky misses. So, some more missiles coming into these guys, and dismount flight is rapidly catching up with these Sukhoi 24, or this Sukhoi 24. I think it's just a single aircraft after all, down there to the east. And all these call signs, incidentally, disbound, chosen, hammer, they're all valid call signs for the situation we have here. Okay, that's a kill on that Sukhoi. Disbound in particular kind of threw me for a loop for a while, but yeah, I went and looked it up, and it is, all these are real call signs used by all the players. Okay, another missile coming in on this guy. That should be a good hit. Got my fingers crossed. Got him, so we're down to 1. Okay, let me go ahead and I'll, again, risk a little time acceleration here. Go to 5 times speed. Missile in the air, got him. Okay, so let me see. I think that's about all there is. Let me let this run on out. I think we're just down to the cap. And I'll run this at 15 times speed. And just watch what all happens. So in the scenario, we're down to 50 minutes to go. But I do believe that's all that we have expected here. Yeah, so that was a cool scenario. I mean, we inflicted heavy losses on everything they threw at us that time. I'm happy with the plan. I mean, that's going up against, I think numbers-wise, we were outnumbered by pretty much pure competitors right there. Okay, let's see what the tail of the tape is. Major victory, 42. Not that I put any stock in this whatsoever. It's all about, okay, how did I execute the plan? What kind of a plan did I come up with? And what did I learn from it about the aircraft systems and the way that the plan was set up? So, yeah, I think I got a lot out of this. So, yeah, I'll take major victory. Okay, losses on the blue side. 2 F-16s, 1 F-15. Well, now I'm second-guessing myself. That's not so much of a major victory, but, yeah, we'll take it. And as you can see, the flights start to run out of fuel. They're going to start to RTB. But expenditures, 46 AIM-120s, 7 chaff, 24 AIM-120Bs, 4 chaff off of the F-15s and F-16s respectively. Losses on the red side, all the aircraft, 16 Sukhoi 27s, 8 MiG-29s, 8 Sukhoi 24s. They expended a lot of missiles for not getting as many hits as they got. A whole lot of Alamo Alphas, a whole lot of Alamo Charlies. And like I said before, it all came down to not necessarily a superiority in aircraft, it was a superiority in aircraft systems, particularly the semi-active radar homing missile up against competitors with active radar guided missiles that gave our side in this scenario the ability to launch the missiles and just sort of forget about them and not have to worry about... I was worried there for a second with those red aircraft coming down, and not have to worry so much about keeping the radar lock on them, be able to evade the missiles that are fired while our own missiles went against the aircraft and we're still able to guide. So folks, that's going to do it for this scenario. I had a lot of fun putting this together, And I look forward to the comments about, you know, different ways that you would have set this up, the different experiences that you've had in this scenario. So I'll be back next time in another scenario, getting into something that's a little bit more sort of strike package oriented and something that's a little bit broader in scope than this. And I look forward to seeing you there. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.